Let's begin. Morning at the Jian mansion. The soft clinking of cutlery echoed through the quiet dining hall. Sunlight streamed in through tall windows, brushing against marble floors and polished wood. A woman in her early 40s sat at the table, watching as a young man descended the staircase. "Hey, cook!" He glanced at her while adjusting his watch and calmly pulled out a chair at the dining table. "Mom, please, if you're going to repeat the same thing again about my marriage, I'm skipping breakfast," she gasped dramatically. "Blackmailing your own mother?" Jungkook shot a look at the man seated calmly at the head of the table. "Don't drag me into this," Namjin said without lifting his eyes, continuing to eat as if the conversation had nothing to do with him. "Listen, cook," Jin tried again. He didn't look at her. "Your father married me when he was 25, and you're already past that age. You should start looking for someone. Tell me if you love someone already. We'll accept her as she is." "Cook, are you listening? Jungkook?" He exhaled slowly. "Mom, I'm not ready for marriage right now. I want to be stable before starting that phase of my life." "But, Mom, listen, when Dad married you, he only had to join the John Enterprise and help Uncle Jhope run it. My case is different. I started a company from scratch." She muttered under her breath. "Was there any need for that?" "Huh? Mom, I'm not saying I'll never marry. Just give me time until my business settles. That's all I'm asking. It's already been 2 years since you started it. It's still a startup. I'm learning everything as a newbie. I need to build connections, open new branches, invest my time fully. If I don't, the company won't survive. You can still do that after marriage." He put his fork down. This time he looked at her properly. "If I marry now, my wife will need me. She'll be new to this house, to this family. And if I ignore her for work, I'll fail both as a husband and as a businessman. I don't want to start something I can't give my full effort to." Silence stretched across the table. "I'm done. I'll be late. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad." He waved casually and left before she could reply. The sound of the main door closing echoed through the mansion. Moments later, the engine of his luxury car roared to life. John Jungkook, age 27, son of the John family. Jin turned toward her husband with an exaggerated pout. "Why didn't you support me?" Namjoon sighed. "Jin, the problem is I agree with both of you. Now tell me, whose side am I supposed to take?" "So you agree with him, Namjoon?" She smacked his arm. "Ow, Jin, let the boy decide his own life." She turned her face away, arms crossed, still sulking, but worry lingered in her eyes. A few days later, afternoon light filled Jungkook's room. He sat cross-legged on his bed in casual clothes, laptop open in front of him. His room was spotless, everything aligned with almost obsessive precision. A digital planner glowed on the screen, filled with meetings, deadlines, and notes for the next day. His phone buzzed. "Hello, Mom. Come pick us up." "All right." Silence. On the other end, Jin blinked in surprise. "He didn't argue?" "I've sent you the address." The call ended. Jungkook tilted his head, still staring at the laptop. "Fine. I'll finish tomorrow's prep after I bring them home." He searched the address. Not far. Within minutes, he grabbed his keys and headed out. 3 hours later, the grand wedding hall shimmered under crystal chandeliers. White drapes cascaded from the ceiling. Floral arrangements lined the aisle. Soft music floated through the air. Jungkook stepped inside, scanning the crowd. Several girls nearby whispered and glanced at him, their smiles widening. He ignored them completely. He spotted his parents seated on the left side of the hall. Namjoon sat calmly beside Jin, observing the stage. Under the spotlight sat the bride. Her face partially hidden by the veil and angle. Nothing clear. Just a quiet silhouette in white. "Mom, why did you call me this early? The wedding hasn't even started." "I know. Your dad's friend insisted you come. Seriously. I told you I have an important meeting tomorrow. Dad, you too?" Namjoon avoided eye contact. "Just sit," Jin said, tugging him into the empty chair beside her. "It won't take long." Time dragged. Guests began whispering. The air shifted from celebration to uneasy curiosity. Jungkook checked his watch for the third time. "Mom, when will this end?" "It hasn't even started yet." Namjoon frowned slightly. "Jin, Bogum looks tense. Let me see what's going on." They stood. Jungkook followed reluctantly. Inside a private room, Park Bogum paced back and forth, breathing heavily. His hands trembled. "Bogum, what happened?" Namjoon asked gently. Bogum's voice broke. "How will I face my daughter now, RM? When she asks me? Tell us what happened." He covered his face. "He ran away from wedding. My princess, how could he do this to her?" The weight of the situation settled instantly. Jungkook stood near the door, silent. Marriage is terrifying, he thought. The door suddenly opened. The bride entered. "Dad, what happened? Uncle, aunt? Why is he here?" "Dad." She froze at the sight of her father's tears and rushed to him. "Dad, what happened?" From behind, Jungkook could only hear her voice. Steady, warm, unexpectedly calm. Her voice, gentle, sweet, mature. How can he run at a moment like this? What will people say about you, my princess? Bogum whispered. Why would they say anything to me? I did nothing wrong. Right, Aunt Jin? Of course you didn't. None of this is your fault. Namjoon added firmly. He's the one at fault. You asked him clearly if he loved someone else, he lied. And now he runs away on the wedding day? Silence filled the room, then she turned. For the first time, Jungkook saw her face. Kim Taehyung, age 24. His eyes widened. The chaos faded into a distant hum. Beautiful. Not just pretty, composed. Steady, despite the disaster unfolding around her. Her friends rushed in, breathless. Tae, he ran away. I know, she said quietly. No tears, no breakdown, just calm strength. Night at the Kim residence. The living room was crowded, yet painfully quiet. Relatives filled the sofas, their voices low, murmuring soft words of comfort that meant nothing. The air smelled faintly of incense and untouched tea, cups growing cold on polished tables, just like the sympathy in the room. In the center sat Park Bogum. He stared at nothing. His eyes were open, but unfocused, as if he were looking at a future he could no longer fix. Across from him sat Taehyung, still, hands folded neatly in her lap. She hadn't cried, and that worried everyone more. Namjoon and Jin sat nearby offering silent support, their presence steady, respectful. Near the edge of the room stood Jungkook. He checked his watch, not out of impatience, out of habit. Jin noticed, quietly, she stood and gently pulled him into a nearby room, away from the heavy air of the living space. Her voice dropped to a whisper. You should leave. You have a meeting tomorrow. Jungkook hesitated. But is it right to go in this situation? Jin looked at him carefully. We'll be here for a few days. Are you planning to stay too? Silence. The question answered itself. Exactly, she said softly. Go. We'll manage here. He sighed. Okay. They stepped back into the living room. Jin gave Namjoon a small nod, an unspoken understanding passing between them. Jungkook walked toward the door, one step, two halfway there. He stopped. His eyes drifted across the room and found her. Taehyung was still sitting the same way, gaze lowered, lost somewhere no one else could reach. For a moment, something unfamiliar stirred inside him. Not pity, not curiosity, something deeper, concern mixed with something he couldn't name. He looked away quickly and left. The door closed softly behind him. A few days later, afternoon light filtered through the windows, falling across the dining table. Lunch was laid out carefully, warm rice, fresh curry, neatly arranged side dishes. The table looked normal. Everyone was watching her. Bogum, Namjoon, Jin, the elders. Taehyung sat quietly in her seat. She ate slowly, mechanically. Her eyes remained fixed on her plate, not a tear, not a complaint, not a single unnecessary word. Since the wedding incident, countless people had tried to make her laugh, to make her talk, to make her react. Nothing worked. She wasn't crying, she wasn't angry, she was simply quiet, and that frightened them. Jin observed her closely. She doesn't look broken, but she's so silent. Why? 2 days later, the house felt emptier. The relatives had left one by one, their sympathy fading with the closing of doors. Now only Namjoon and Jin remained as guests, steady presences in a space that still felt fragile. Taehyung sat near the window. Sunlight rested gently on her face, tracing the quiet outline of her features. But her eyes were distant again. Jin watched her for a long moment. Too long. Something inside her tightened. Then she snapped. Tae, if you keep living like this forever, I swear I'll punish you. And you know I can. The sudden sharpness of her voice sliced through the still air. Taehyung blinked, startled. Her fingers tightened slightly in her lap. She bit her lip. Aunt? Namjoon leaned closer to Jin, lowering his voice gently. Jin, don't be so harsh. But Jin ignored him completely. She walked straight toward Taehyung and crouched down in front of her, forcing her to look at her. Her voice softened, but her eyes remained firm. Listen to me. Come with us for a few days. Change your surroundings. Meet new people. If you stay trapped in this house, you'll stay trapped in that day. Taehyung looked at her aunt, saw the fear, saw the love hidden beneath it. After a long pause, she exhaled softly. Okay. Namjoon smiled faintly, relief settling quietly on his face. Evening. The car rolled to a smooth stop in front of the towering gates of the John estate. The gates slowly opened. Namjoon stepped out first, stretching slightly after the drive. Jin followed. Then Taehyung stepped out last. She tilted her head back. Her eyes moved slowly over the mansion. Tall, grand, imposing. How's it? Jin asked carefully. Taehyung didn't take her eyes off the building. This is your new mansion? Yes. A small pause. It's lavish. Jin and Namjoon laughed softly, the first light sound in days. I thought you'd say it's bigger than the old one, Namjoon teased. They exchanged amused smiles and walked inside. Workers followed behind with luggage, their footsteps echoing across the wide entrance. The massive doors opened to reveal a grand living hall, high ceilings, warm lights, polished floors, reflecting everything like glass. Namjun dropped onto the sofa with a dramatic sigh. I hate car rides. Tai, sit for a moment, Jin said gently. But Taehyung remained standing, looking around. Aunt, which room is mine? Namjun raised an eyebrow playfully. Want to freshen up first? She nodded quietly. Come, I'll show you. They headed upstairs, while Namjun disappeared toward their bedroom. The staircase curved elegantly, their footsteps echoing softly with each step. I had the best guest room prepared for you, Jin said with quiet pride. Taehyung smiled faintly. Thank you. Jin's chest swelled. She's smiling. They stopped in front of a tall wooden door. Here you go. Taehyung pushed it open. A spacious room greeted her. Wide windows draped in sheer curtains, soft golden lighting, a neatly made bed, and beyond it, a balcony overlooking a quiet garden. For a moment, she simply stood there. Nice, she said softly. Freshen up and come downstairs, I'll start dinner, or do you want evening snacks first? Dinner is fine. Jin patted her shoulder gently. All right. She walked back downstairs. Taehyung stepped fully inside the room and closed the door behind her. The dining table glowed under warm lights. Steam rose gently from freshly served dishes as Jin arranged the plates with practiced care. Footsteps echoed down the staircase. Taehyung descended quietly. At the same time, Namjun entered from the hallway. Jin looked up and smiled softly. Come quickly. Dinner's ready. Namjun pulled out a chair and glanced around. He's not coming? I don't know, Jin replied. Almost on cue, footsteps sounded from upstairs. Slow. Measured. Jungkook walked in, loosening his sleeve absent-mindedly. Then he saw her. He froze, just for half a second. She's here? Why? What happened after that matter? Should I ask? No. Why would I? His thoughts moved quickly, but his face revealed nothing. His expression returned to neutral as if nothing had happened. He walked forward and took the empty seat directly across from her. Taehyung looked up briefly. Their eyes met. Just for a moment. She looked away first. Who is he? I've seen him before. Is he Cookie? If you enjoyed listening, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel for upcoming chapters and new stories.